Ahsoka episode 5, where she fights Anakin, maybe. Okay, so it would seem that my idea that she was in the world between worlds and this was Palps pretending to be Anakin is possibly wrong, and instead all she's had is a near-death experience. And she wasn't in the world between worlds at all. And she was just recounting moments in her life and then deciding whether or not she wants to live or die. And if she chose death, well, then she would die figuratively in this near-death experience she's having at the hands of Anakin, which would be her death dealer, I guess, in her mind. And in the real world, where she's unconscious, she would just simply drown. So, plot device, as I've mentioned previously, generally we shouldn't really have anything shown or focused on in the camera or something like that unless it's going to be playing a part later on. And so the question of why did the green woman bring her child into a potential battle zone? Well, lo and behold, he was the one that identified Ahsoka in the water. Geez, that was lucky. And of course, we've got the space traveling whales. Geez, that was lucky. It's all the will of the Force, you see, apparently. Okay, now I know a lot of people are going to be praising this episode as the best ever, blah, blah, blah. But there's not a lot that actually really happened in this episode. There was some flashbacks or near-death experience fight scenes, I guess, Ahsoka reliving some elements as a Padawan or something or other, but she hadn't actually gone back in time, so these were just reliving the moments. Now, having said that, did she learn a lesson? Well, it seems that she did learn a lesson, because after this, she had some kind of internal awakening, I suppose, because prior to this, now we could consider this to be Dave Filoni's cunning plan.
I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
And that is, I'll have Ahsoka be moody and broody and really emotionless the whole previous 4 episodes and even into episode 5, so that when I actually have her smile a few times, it stands out as something has changed inside of her. So, good cunning plan, Dave. And of course, at the end, when the robot says, do we even know if these space whales or whatever are going to take them to where Thrawn is and Ezra is? And she's like, I don't know, let's just see where it goes. And of course, that reminded me of another movie.
Ain't it cool?
John Travolta, Broken Arrow, if you didn't know where that one came from. And so, like in all Star Wars, we are going to trust our fate to the location of these whales that happen to be able to travel between galaxies. We're not just talking hyperspace lanes in one galaxy. These whales are intergalactic traveling whales. How do they do that? Well, look, I'm not going to answer that. We don't know the answer. However, suffice it to say, if we ask those questions of our own world in which we live, Dr. Richard Feynman style, we will keep asking questions deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And the answer is how much of an answer will satisfy you. And if we keep asking questions of the next answer and so on, we always end up with, I don't know, that's just the way it is. So, how can these space whales fly around and just leave orbit? I don't know, it's just the way it is. How can they travel from one galaxy to another? I don't know. It's just the way it is. So we have to accept that, no matter how convoluted it is, that in this galaxy, I don't know. It's just the way it is in this galaxy. Just like a guy can be full of green mist and be fighting. I don't know. It's just the way it is. So we have to accept it's just the way it is. Now, a few little nitpicky things. Obviously, landing a craft near the altar and not even knowing there was a robot standing on the other side of the rocks. Like, I don't know. How did you fly your craft to the altar in the first place? Did you come in over the ocean? Because you would have seen him. If you didn't and you came in from the other side, did you even circle the altar in your spaceship before you landed? In which case you would have seen him standing there, being all moody, holding a helmet. And then the question is, why did that robot know a ship has come down and landed and not even bother poking his head out and go, oh, look, it's them. I might greet them. Instead, he's kind of just ignored that whole scene. So, Mum, can I come out now? Yeah, you can. Oh, well, hang on, there's a noise. You better hide behind a robot. Meanwhile, she's pouncing around in high heels. I'm not sure if anyone else picked up on that, but I'm pretty sure a general in a war zone isn't normally walking around in cloggy high heel anythings. But okay, that's a little bit of a nitpicky out of the way there, I suppose. Okay, having said that, what actually happened? Well, Ahsoka had a near-death experience, and then when she woke up, she had a chat with a whale and did a Jonah and went inside the mouth of the whale. That is, in essence, the whole episode in one sentence. Now, I know a lot of people will praise this episode simply because it had some Anakin member berries in it and a few fight scenes and whatnot, and maybe they'll delve into Ahsoka's personality and how she grew and she learnt some stuff in these final lessons, and now she's just decided to live instead of being, I don't know, a member or a tool or a pawn of the greater Rebel Alliance or Republic Alliance or whatever. She's just doing her own thing now and she's going to do what's right. I think that's maybe some kind of resolution, and that she forgives herself for all of the bad that she's ever done as a Jedi or non-Jedi or whatever the hell that led to a lot of deaths of clones and so on and so forth. In which case, figuratively, she was battling the good and the dark inside of her, and she has decided to reject the dark, so now she's good. That's how I take that symbolically in this case. So take that for what you will, agree or disagree. Hey, let me know what you think of that particular aspect down below. Was it entertaining enough? Yeah, sure. It was entertaining enough. Like, I never looked at my watch thinking, when is this episode going to end? Is it coming to a point? Is there a point? Or none of those things ever happened. So it does then make me ask the next question, seeing as this is episode 5 of however many there is, maybe 8 or something. We're nearly done. We still haven't met Thrawn. And I'm just thinking, well, so what? So what if we don't meet Thrawn until halfway or 3/4 of the way through the last episode of the season? It's just doing what The Mandalorian did, where we're chasing a MacGuffin right up until this end point, and then in The Mandalorian we find it's Gideon right at the very end. Why can't we do that here? Leave the whole season on a cliffhanger, so then next season we'll be trying to stop Thrawn returning, or whatever the case may be. In any case, that's an additional thought on where the season's going, but let me know what you think down below.